Hello everyone, hi, welcome to the channel of Wall Street Mojo.
Watch the video till the end, and also if you are new to this channel, then you can subscribe us by clicking the bell icon.
Today we have a topic with us is called initial public offer. One of the very hot topic around the globe. If you see any country, any company in any particular company, they are always interested in initial public offer. That is, you get the money from the public who subscribes your shares, and you can use that money for your expansion purpose or probably your working capital and so on and so forth. As you can see over here, there's a detail of from the SEC regarding the F1 registration of Alibaba Group Holding Limited. One thing I want to place in front of you that this was the biggest IPO that has ever happened, and that was on the 6th of May 2014. The Chinese e-commerce heavyweight Alibaba filed a registration document to go to the public in the US. Now, in what may be called as the mother of all the initial offerings in the US history. Now, Alibaba is fairly unknown entity in the US and other regions. Though its massive size is comparable or even bigger than Amazon or eBay, reading through the Alibaba's, if you see for the S1 filings, was very interesting, educating, and making me, realize how big their business is and how complex is the Chinese internet web market. Now, IPO is one of the most popular terms in the world of business. Now, in this tutorial, you will get to know everything about the IPO process, how it works, and so on and so forth. So let's begin. Now, first and the foremost thing we are going to start with is what is the IPO, that's initial public offer. See, IPO stands for the initial, that is at the inception, that is the starting stage, where you go out to the public and you offer them these shares. That is your initial public offer. Now, in layman's language, the definition of IPO is that, it is a process of selling the first shares of the private company to public asset. Let's take an example to understand this. Let's say Michelle has a bookshop which is very profitable. Now, she keeps all the ancient books from old times, and she had a decent amount of loyal customers. Now, she feels that she needs to expand her business so that she can go in different cities where more people would love her collections. So, she has a profitable business, but she does not have money in hand to build more stores in different cities. And also, she does not want to go for the debt market, the debt. Hence, she decides to go for the IPO, and she contacts a local investment banker, okay, who values her bookstores. The investment banks finds out that the valuation of her bookstore is, let's say, $4 lakh, and they advise Michelle that she should go for an IPO of, let's say, 20,000 shares. How much shares? 20,000. Okay, by offering each shares at 20 each, so that comes to $4 lakh. Okay, that's 4 lakh in total. So Michelle decides to keep 50% ownership. So this will go to Michelle, okay, and issues the rest of the shares at 20 per share. So 50% will go to the public. So this is like a free float in the market. This is a free float in the market where the market people, they play on this particular shares. Okay. So Michelle, with the help of this, now she has $2 lakh, okay, to build more stores in different cities. And Michelle builds up, let's say, four stores in 4 cities and becomes more profitable ever since. So the purpose of the IPO is to create funds by selling company shares to public, and it is the best way out of to those who don't want to go for long-term loans. In that particular scenario, this is the best way to do things. Now, how the IPO works. See, an IPO is not an indication that a private company needs more capital to fuel its growth, but it's also a symbol that the business has made their mark in the world map. So not all the business go for an initial public offer. Only few who feel that that they are competitive enough to go big and only go for the initial public offer. But IPO, not at all a bed of roses. So with recent SOX Act, that is Sarbanes-Oxley's Act in 2002, IPO has become an audacious process which not only costs business more money, but also the reg requirement is too much, which very few company can crack. And having said that, there are following, steps that you need to take if you would like to go your company from private to public. First, decide why you are going for an IPO. See, we know that the reason you are going for an IPO is to raise money. But why you want to raise money? Do you want to expand your business? Do you want to go for backward integration or forward integration? Do you want to diversify your business? See, no matter what your reasons have, you have account them and go to the next step. That is, second, hire an investment bank. Now, over here, once you have clarity on why IPO is essential option, the next step is to find out an investment bank which can work on the underwriter for your IPO process. And underwriter who basically writes your shares. Okay. And so before selecting the bank, choose whether the bank has any previous records of conducting an initial public offer. Now, having experience in conducting an IPO will take away a lot of burden from your shoulder. Third, the work of an underwriter. Now, once the investment bank is hired, it acts as an underwriter. The underwriter decides the value of the company and how much the investors are willing to pay for shares in the company. After that, the initial public offer is planned out, and at pre-decided price, company shares hit the stock market. Then the individual investor, will purchase shares and the company will get new funds. So the entire transaction is first funded by the investment bank so that the company has enough funds before the IPO. Now, IPO process usually takes months to complete, and in IPO is not always successful. Who will need to bear the cost then? The sad part is, even if the IPO becomes unsuccessful, the cost has to be borne by the company, and it usually costs them around $3 lakh. You have to be ready with this amount, $5 lakh. So the cost needs to be incurred for printing, legal matters, and accounting fees, and so on and so forth. It's really very costly. Fifth is the due diligence part. Now, if you want to make your initial public offer successful, first go in the market and find out whether your idea of expansion or diversification is a great idea. Ask you can ask your customers. Okay. Find out the competitors. Primary research is very much important than the secondary research. So invest first in the primary research and record your findings. Then they compare the findings with the secondary research and see whether you can see any trend that is possible. Now, if the answer is yes, then follow along. And if not, then go deep and find out more. So due diligence is critical for your IPO because it ultimately decides whether the IPO would be, successful or not. Now, the sixth step, we have reached to the fifth one. We'll go for the sixth one, is places to go public. Which are the places that you can go for public? See, after all the preparation, it's time now where you exactly will go public. The stock exchange. Okay, so there are various few options that you have where you can go. First, of course, is the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. There is also AMEX, American Stock Exchange, and you can also go for NASDAQ, that's National Association of Security Dealers Automated Quotations. So other options are available, so you can check that out. Like, for example, many startup companies choose over to the counter bulletin board and pink sheets because there is no requirement for assets or revenue. As they grow in revenue and assets, so they grow up in the ladder and choose a higher rung. Seventh is the final thing. While going for an IPO, there is one thing the most companies neglect, is running their business. So an initial public offer is a very time consuming thing, which takes up all the time, as a result. So the main thing gets ignored. And so chalking out of the plan to run your business effectively while you hustle for IPO is an essential thing. So otherwise, during the process, you may lose out decent portion of the revenue. So after discussing all the process, let me finally give my conclusion on this. See, initial public offer isn't all for all the companies, and not all the initial public offers are successful. So there are many instances where IPO failed or did not do well as expected. But as big companies are captured by the media and they already have funds to run a successful IPO, hire a great underwriter as a result, ensure a smooth flow of hire a great underwriter as a result, to ensure smooth flow of issuing the shares. So we know that, they are successful and we seem to believe that all are successful. But the truth is darker than it seems. For example, if you look at the statistics of Epigum or Corp, or any other, you see that, the list of the failed IPO is much longer than it seems.
So that's it for this particular topic. If you have learned and enjoyed watching this video, please like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.